Detach your mind right now from stock market, okay? Futures markets. Think about a different market. I love to use a car lot. Prices go higher to find what? To find business, to find sellers in particular.
Merritt, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing?
I am doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I must admit, I'm doing a little better on Tuesdays than on Mondays. Mondays a little rough for rare, but anyway. So, what are you thinking about the price action so far today?
Um, it's whipping around. I'm kind of focused on the S&P. It's not at a spot for me that's super interesting. The market was kind of in a balance higher, and then we had the sell off, and then we put a couple days of balance, and then we reverted back to the prior area where we were at, and now it's just kind of oscillating a little bit in between. So, you guys know me. Most of the time when you're like, all right, let's go to Merritt, I've got a trade on, or whatever. But today's not one of those days. I am going to keep my eye on gold, whether that's because of what happened last night, a little bit of a catalyst, whatever's, going on. But gold is moving decently in terms of short-term ebbs and flows. So that might be something to look at for some scalps. So we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. But no, I don't have any super strong opinions. It's going to be more of like, let's see how this opens. I could present a bearish case. I could. I do have that. I think 6470 in the S&P is kind of a decent line in the sand for if this little move down, which we've seen. And by the way, there was a tremendous amount of selling. Look at this delta.
Yeah.
We almost pushed a 20,000 delta just kind of in the last afternoon session of the trade yesterday. So that is not inconsequential. That was a substantial, meaningful sell-off. I don't know if people were getting information early about Trump's firing of what's her name, but we can never know. It's a trader. For a trader, it's a waste of time to always ask why and try to figure out the exact things, unless you're trading long term. Don't even think about detach your mind right now from stock market, okay? Futures markets. Think about a different market. I love to use a car lot. Prices go higher to find what? To find sellers, to find business, to find sellers in particular. If you need to sell something, what do you do to the price to find buyers? Everybody understands that. If you need to sell something, you're motivated to sell something, and you aren't finding buyers, and you need to find buyers, what does the price do? It goes down. You lower it. You go lower to find buyers. You raise price to find sellers. That is constantly happening. And if you find a lot of transaction occurring, you build what we call value. And then you form value areas, and then you measure where are we now relative to recent value, and how is that evolving and changing, and or are we accepting outside of it versus previously being inside of it. This is like a big crash course here today on profiling, which is appropriate because we got the profile stuff launched here today. So hopefully some light bulb moments for some of you in terms of the real practical application of auction market process. Look who just dropped in.
What's up? Good morning.
Top of the morning. I get the sense that you wrestle with, I might just say money, right? I might just say like the concept around like how much is enough, even how much is too much. I'm not sure if you're one of those guys as well. But that is something that I have seen in a lot of traders and can be something that needs some wrestling with and needs some thinking through. I am kind of on the other end of the spectrum where I guess almost ironically, it's not about the money. The money is not the thing that I'm trying to do, but I take this stance that if you're not scaling up and if you're not growing and trading larger, that you're not doing it right. And I think that you might disagree with me on that, and that's cool, and that could be a cool conversation, or maybe you don't disagree.
I think that No, I don't disagree. It's just like in anything. The thing that it makes me think about the most is poker, because I used to. I mean, there was a whole year where I was just playing poker for money, and that's how I paid my bills. Was I would go sit at the casino and hit cash games all day and then go home. I don't recommend anybody ever do that. It's not a very fun way.
It's a grind of a life. Yeah.
It sucks.
I used to, not IRL, but multi-table, like back in the party poker days,
Yep.
that stuff,
Yep.
till like 3 in the morning, like, man, what a grind.
Yes. Yeah, you have to sit through variance, and variance has no timetable, and it will just grind you into the ground. Also, a casino is not a very healthy place to spend your time.
Yeah. Cigarettes,
anyway,
smoke, yeah.
I would play 1-3 typically, and then I moved up to 2-5. And every time I tried to make the jump to 2-5, I would get hit with weird roadblocks because the bet sizing didn't make sense to me anymore. Just the quantity of money didn't make sense to me anymore. My pain threshold for losing money is something that like has evolved over time.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can say losing. I know Pax hates when I say losing money, but my threshold for expenses increases over time. And I don't know, it's just something that I think gradually took me years to develop, like playing poker, where I was able to get up there. Instead of leading with a $15 or a $25 bet, you have to lead with a $55 or a $75 bet. Just calculating that math and calculating those losses and making them hurt less emotionally.
What you can do in
internally.
poker and what guys actually do and what you can do, this is an exact parallel. Almost everything that has come out of Stowe's mouth for the past 5 minutes is an exact parallel to trading. Poker players end up focusing on things in units of big blinds.
Yep.
Traders, if you're doing it in a way that I think is appropriate, where you're taking consistent risk per trade, you're focusing on what's called an R value, your like targeted dollar risk per trade. And if you have a winning trade, you might have a winning trade that's 2.7 R. Losing trade, they should all either be -1 R or less, right? If you end up with a scale and a scratch or something. So thinking in terms of units that are not dollars is a unlocker, an emotional, psychological unlocker to scale and to play in those bigger arenas where you can go back to kind of your thinking model of bets, big bets in poker or units of R in trading.
Yep.
Yeah, NQ's a contender here.
Gotta want it. Gotta want it, buyers.
I just banged in some NQ as well.
Entry kind of sucks. I'm kind of hating this now. We'll see. ES came down and again held its previous day low. We just hit its RTHV up, previous day close. I guess that's a decent spot. Really trying. There you go. All right. Good. I almost took one off. I almost de-risked right there, but I'm glad that I did not. Okay. Now we'll go up. We'll see if we can crack the IB. We'll tuck this stop under here. Cool. No, Vintage Trader, I'm long. This is kind of, let me pull up. Do you guys want to see, Merritt, do you want to see the ugly chart? Will that make you happy?
I'm long 5 NQ here, looking to get scaled into this kind of like +2 region and potentially the high. But yeah, let's see the ugly chart.
All right, here she is, baby. Look at this disgusting.
I don't find it ugly. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's not some people are really against some of those like desaturated goldenrods. I tend to like them.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we're right.
Okay, let's push this high and let's get scaled. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that was, but I take off 2. I actually wish it wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that was too rude.
Honestly, I hate when it does that because then all of a sudden you get this weird like liquidity vacuum backfill thing like it's doing. I hate those things. Let's just trade methodically. Welcome back to NQ, it says.
All right. Yes.
This presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader, LLC. Trading futures involves substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.